Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina and I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 5 new habits that I am changing for the new year. Now I know we are in February, but it's never too late, to make these changes or to implement these changes in your everyday life. Lately, I've been doing a lot more things that I found have helped me just carry on throughout my day. I've intentionally started out my day with a lot of purpose, with doing things purposefully, you know what I mean? And that's just led to an overall greater attitude, and I can really see the difference. So I'm here to share the 5 things that I'm trying to carry out for the remainder of the year and hopefully make this a new habit for the rest of my life. I'm gonna start with my number 5, which for me is hydration. Now, I did feel like I was at my peak with hydration when I was pregnant, of course, because you have to stay hydrated, you have to drink so much water every hour and stuff like that. So I felt like I was at my peak. Now, while it was very annoying having to track my water intake and be on top of it for 9 months, as soon as my son was born, I remember feeling just a big down. I felt very dehydrated, and while I was still trying to be on top of my water, I could also finally drink alcohol. So immediately after I had my son, maybe a month or so after, I was really into alcohol because I hadn't had it for a while. That was kind of my reason or my excuse. But I do want to get back into that. Now, I do drink water pretty well. I think I drink, Yeti cups. I drink those throughout my work day at least. And then once I'm home, I kind of tend to forget that. I'm really trying to make that a habit and kind of carry it on throughout my entire day. My number 4 will be more time with nature overall. I typically don't go outside. Now, I know that might sound normal because a lot of us are at home, we're on our phones and stuff. But I remember about 3 years ago, like in 2019, I had gone to the doctor, and even then I did like an overall health exam, and the doctor had told me back then that I was lacking a little bit of vitamin D. So I haven't made any changes since then, but because I've had my son now, I do want him to be exposed to the outdoors, to nature. I want him to grow up outside. I want him to be a kid and stuff, get messy, get dirty. So I'm trying to get better at that. When we first moved into our house now, my excuse back then was more so about bugs. With a new build, with a new community, there comes more spiders and more bugs and bigger bugs because it's a new land, right? But that was my excuse for a whole year. I really want to make this year the year that I do more stuff intentionally outside. With number 4, that outdoor time / nature time, I also want to be intentional about moving my body. So when I'm outside with my son, I don't want to be on my phone consistently. I don't want to be just walking behind him, following him. I want to be a lot more active and playing soccer with him, showing him what it's like to be with a basketball, showing him, running from one side to the other. I really want to move my body. And for those days I can't be outside, I just want to make it, and again, intentional to move my body in the morning or at night. Just spend some time for myself to really get into like an active mindset. It doesn't necessarily have to be for the gym, right? I don't want that. It's just about getting in the habit of feeling good in that sense and moving my body, you know what I mean? The 3rd thing I plan on doing more often is reading. Now, believe it or not, when I was a kid, I really, really loved to read. Over time, I still have that love. I still like to read, but I don't find it as interesting. If I'm spending some time by myself, I find that I end up falling asleep, and that's not good. So that's something I want to change. I want to get better about reading and intentionally reading, sitting down, reading for 10 minutes or whatever. But I kind of want to make it a goal to complete a book in a month. For some people, that may seem like a really, really long time. But for me, as someone who doesn't read, someone who falls asleep when I do tend to read, I think I can get better at that for sure. And then for me, it's kind of a win in 2 aspects, because yes, I'm reading and I feel good about it. But 2, there's so much to learn from books, obviously. Depending on the books that you like, I think you can get a lot of knowledge. And that goes into my 2nd thing, which is my screen time. So I really want to lower my screen time. If you have an iPhone, you sometimes get messages, I guess if you allow your phone to do it, you get messages that say, oh, your screen time increased this week, your screen time went down this week, and then it gives you like a quick summary of how you spent your time, which apps exactly, when you spent that time there, and the overall amount of hours you spent per day. So mine is at about 5 hours. Okay, I know I can do better than that. I want to get it at 3. I think that's a obtainable goal. I want to get it at 3 hours and down, and then hopefully 2 hours. I think that's a really good goal, especially with my son. You know, he keeps me busy, Nathan keeps me busy, having a home keeps me busy, and then I'm at work all day, so I just don't have to be on my phone for that amount of time. My screen time, that goes hand in hand with being intentional, right? If I'm on my phone, then I'm not really spending quality time with my son. Or if we're outside and I'm on my phone, then I'm not really being intentional about the time I'm spending outside and with him, you know? So my screen time really has to go down. And I'm starting off with my screen time, limiting my screen time before I go to bed. I've read before that if you're on it, you know, for so long, or if you use it within like a 30-minute window before going to bed, it actually decreases your quality of sleep. You know, don't quote me on that, but I believe I saw that somewhere online, like an article, and that kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh wow, I don't get quality sleep all the time. And I do think it goes with my phone and that screen time that I'm getting. So I'm definitely going to limit that, and that's why that's number 2. Finally, number 1 for me is using sunscreen. That may sound silly to some people. Some people may be like, oh yeah, I don't wear enough sunscreen either. But what really scared me was a TikTok I recently watched. It was, whether it was fake or not, I don't know. It was a man, and half of his face was almost completely with wrinkles. It was mainly like in his cheek area, and this side was completely like this, like little to no wrinkles. And the woman that made this video claimed that it was because he's a truck driver and he has the sun facing his side, or this side of his face, all day. I just don't do it. I don't really purchase sunscreen, to be honest, unless we're in the summertime and I'm gonna be spending a lot of hours outside or in the pool. But I know it's important to be wearing sunscreen when it's cloudy, when in the wintertime, just all year round. So I really need to implement more sunscreen into my skincare routine, because I'm mid-20s now and I don't want my skin to be wrinkly down the line. I already have little wrinkles. I'm sure you've seen it in videos, I don't know, but I have wrinkles like on the corners of my eyes, and every time I smile you see them really bad. So if I can get better at that now, then I will save my future self, you know, from lots and lots of wrinkles or anything. Those are the 5 things I'm changing this year. Kind of, again, being a lot more intentional with my time, how I spend it, those types of things. So if you like this video and if you found it helpful, please make sure to give my video a like and subscribe to my channel. It'll mean so much to me. I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.